see. Got to get the right ZBrush Live. There we go. Hey. I've got some light coming in from the sunshine. Let me see if I can find any way to be able to block that. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me see. Shoot. I've got like that line of light going straight down my face. What a pain. No, that doesn't make it any better. Oh well, I guess I'll just dodge the light for now. Hello, India. Welcome. Hola, Brasil. Tudo bem? How's everybody doing today? All right. I think we are ready to just go ahead and get started. So, this is a character that I started a little while back. Hello, Andrew. How you doing? Hello, Norway. Strawberry King. That's kind of a fun name. So yeah, this character is one that I started a few years back, but it's one that I wanted to be able to work on and finish. If you guys have seen my personal stream, then you'll have kind of heard the explanation before. I as part of the animation guild, we are able to take different classes and things like that, and there was a class available from Louis Tucci, who is part of a big part of the Pixologic community. I went ahead and took the class that he had offered, different like advanced ZBrush techniques and things like that, and this is just something that I came up with while I was playing around in that class, and it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy a lot of what's going on with them, and so I'm wanting to go through and kind of play around with them and take them to finish. There's a video that I saw a couple of weeks ago from an artist named Danny Mac. He's been a streamer for Pixologic before. Good grief! I want to figure out a way to be able to block this. This is driving me nuts. Something like this. See if this works. Perfect. That'll work just nicely. I might have to move it at some point later on, but we'll see. Anyway, so Danny Mac in his video, he talked about taking an old sculpt and finishing it. Something that he had started before. And since I really like this character, I feel like this would be a good one to finish, since it's not something that's typical in my style or anything like that. So I figured I'd go ahead and play with this one. Yeah. As always, if there are questions, feel free to ask. Yeah. Oliver, do you want to come sit down? You can sit in my comfy chair. my comfy chair, my work chair. Yeah, it's like my eyes are still watering from waking up. Woke up a little bit later this morning than I had intended. Okay, so a few things that I want to be able to work on first. I'm trying to, as you can see, like everything's super rough, everything's super kind of, let's turn off the fire. I don't need the fire right this moment. I mean, you can see like I've got a few things going on here, and everything is very rough. Nothing in this, I believe, will ever be, super well topologized or anything like that. It's going to be just a sculpt. So we'll have to see kind of how we work this out. But there are a lot of things going on with this so far that are still pretty fun. For instance, let's come over here to this stitching. We can probably turn that off for right now. Okay, because what we'll probably end up doing is we'll take that idea of stitching and we'll add in like something that's a little bit more rough, a little bit more a little bit more irregular, things like that. So we'll see what we end up doing to be able to do that. Yeah, for right now, that's kind of what we're looking at. One of the things I'm trying to check right now are things like proportions. Right now, this arm feels a little bit disjointed, a little bit different. No, I won't be retopoing it. Not in like a production topology sort of way. What I might do, I might go through and do like some real topology for the face, but in the unposed version, because I've got like, let me see, where are we at? Lion tooth. Subtool master, fill material, okay. So you can see this is the sculpt before I started actually refining it and posing it and things like that. I might go through and do like a topology pass on this, and then obviously pose it and then kind of refine the topology or whatever on this. But it's one of those things that I'm not looking for this to be production ready in any way. I'm just looking for it to be more of a sculpt, more of a sculpture, and trying to play with mood and the idea of the story rather than something that's ready on that sort of plane. Yeah. Actually, I haven't painted them yet. My kids keep asking me to. I need to get to it sometime soon. But yeah, there's what that looks like. There's that Pikachu ball. I definitely need to get to painting them. Yeah, they're just really fun. Pretty fun, huh, bud? Yeah. Let me see. Phantom Lancer. Not sure what that means, Bendix. It's kind of a fun name, though. Let me see. Oh, as a product? No, it won't ever be a product. It's just something that I did for the kids. Do you have any suggestions for those of us wanting to learn cloth sculpting? Study cloth. One of the best resources for studying cloth. I mean, there are a couple. Here, hold on, let me grab this. You've probably seen his stuff around. J.C. Leindecker. Amazing artist. Okay, he is one of the best resources, especially for like stylized cloth. That also has like a good sense of naturalism and realism to it. So yeah, J.C. Leindecker. Amazing. And then, oh boy, that one's stuck. Then another one of my favorites is J. Scott Campbell. So you've probably seen J. Scott Campbell's stuff like on the internet. He's one of the pioneers of modern comics, and he is amazing. He is amazing. Like the way that he can go through and kind of simplify lines and get. Let me see. There we go. The way that he can, get these forms and everything to flow in there. Let me see. There's got to be a. That wasn't my favorite example, but it's a really cool example. Just the way that he's able to control and design a character and the folds and the. Yeah, let me see. There we go. This guy's really cool. Check that one out. See, I like the folds around the lizard's shoulders and everything. How much weight that has, how much volume that has. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, super, super cool. So yeah, finding good resources or references rather, that's huge in being able to figure out cloth. But then also just playing with it. There are a couple of brushes, and I'll show you guys some here later. I've got to go ahead and build in some trousers for this guy. But yeah, I'll go ahead and Phantom Lancer's a Dota 2 character. Okay. I didn't even know. Yeah, not interested in playing with glitches right now. But let's not move it around too much, okay. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what we can do with this. I'm gonna start blocking in the trousers. So the idea, in fact, what I probably ought to do, let's figure out. Hey, buddy, stop spinning around. You're making me dizzy. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like the rock, the base. Hey, serious. Stop spinning around, okay? If you want to, you can sit in my chair, but I don't want you just spinning around and playing, all right? So yeah, I want to give him kind of like this this rocky base. One of the things you can do is that if you hold control while you use the scale on the gizmo, you can actually use that to flatten. It's one of the things that I love to do with like with the transpose line. It's like you hold control. Oh, sorry. You hold shift, and you can like clip to that point. I don't know why it. I mean, it's like if you hold control while you use your transpose line, it's just gonna go ahead and flatten it down. So it's the same thing. It's just a little bit of a different setup with the different buttons, different controls. But it's super cool. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of try to block in some stony just kind of trying to kind of pull in some rock looking shapes, and we'll come down here and we'll take it out of being this nice round circle. Right, what we could do is we could say curve. Turn on AccuCurve, and we'll just kind of pull on these different corners and whatnot so that we can create something that feels a little bit more organic and rock-like. And what's cool about this is that this is something that we'll be able to go ahead and duplicate and move around and do different things with. So let's go ahead and it feels really level and even. So let's take it and kind of give it some height change here. Let me see. Hola amigo, ¿cuándo vas a hacer un live en español? Pues cuando quieras, pero yo siempre lo hago en los dos idiomas para que, para incluirles a todos. Generalmente lo hago en inglés para que, pues, es mi idioma materna, pues. Pero a la vez, cualquier que tenga preguntas o comentarios, como sea en español, pues me gusta poder utilizar el español también. Es un idioma muy bello, así que cuando quiera que te hable en español, pues solo hábleme. Okay, let's go ahead and scale this up a little bit here. Turn this. Let me see. Saludos a Cuba. In every production, they make the character from scratch and retop it or use the base mesh. It depends. Like, for instance, one of the things that Disney really likes doing is creating things they'll go through and they'll use, they'll just like kind of conceptually sculpt a character. And then they'll use like a base mesh to retopologize. That's pretty common. It's a really good practice so they can reuse blend shapes, or so that they can I'm gonna have to rethink these rocks a little bit, but we'll play with them. Um, but yeah, let's see. This would probably be too dense for what it is I'm trying to do right now. Might have to bring down the resolution quite low. But yeah, it's pretty common to go through and use base meshes to 10 million polys. I don't need it to be that dense. That's way dense. Come on, you. Oh yeah. No, not Portuguese. I know a couple of phrases in Portuguese. But yeah, Portuguese is it's tricky. It's hard. um, but yeah, it's a cool language. I have a lot of friends that speak Portuguese, but yeah, it's definitely not one that I know yet. Um, it's one that I want to learn, but yeah, it's like time is just so lacking. I have spent some time learning French, and that one's hard, so hard. It's a little bit too much. Morning, miss.
Morning.
How are you doing today?
Good. So what are you drawing?
So right now I'm working on some rock stuff. Kind of a base for.
It looks like a rock.
Oh, good. Because that's the idea. um, please don't.
Dad, can I just add?
Careful that doesn't get super loud though. Okay. Yeah, I did live in Chile for a couple of years, so that's how I know Spanish. I love Spanish, and then my in-laws are from Nicaragua, and so I get to continue practicing and all of that. It's a beautiful language. I love Spanish. I love Spanish. See, sometimes you got to kind of play around and just take a jab at it and see if it works. I'm going to take my alpha. I'm going to give it an alpha. Sometimes this gives you some cool results. And then the other thing you can do is that if it's too intense, you can change your intensity. One of the things I want to get is kind of a little bit more of an edgy kind of look. I want this to feel like it's rock from down in a cave. That doesn't feel like it gets very much like it doesn't get really any erosion or many people kind of coming through. I want it to feel rugged and jagged, like it has cave-ins regularly or something, so it has like chips and pieces missing, and sometimes you can use that alternative function too on that brush to give it different looks. What do you think you'll eat for breakfast, hon?
Me?
Yeah, you're the one that I'd call hon, aren't you?
say mom.
You're gonna eat mom for breakfast?
No. I said you call mom hun.
Yeah, I kinda call mom hun. I call her other things. I call her darling or sweetheart or chula or
Chula.
yeah. It's a term of endearment for people you love. Well, for girls or women that you love, you know. Means beautiful. Hey, darling. Hola, Brasil. Tudo bem? See, that's one of those Portuguese phrases I actually know. Lucky you can speak it. Never roll my R's right.
Who are you talking to?
Well, so I'm streaming right now. So there are a bunch of people just watching what I'm doing on my computer from their computers wherever they are in the world. Like earlier, we had people say hi from India. That's on the other side of the world. It's in South Asia. We have people saying hello from Brazil, which is down in South America. We have people. Where else did we have people saying hello from?
South
Yeah.
Asia.
The Ukraine, Norway.
How far is the Ukraine, Norway?
Oh, those are two different places.
That is impossible.
Norway is in it's in Scandinavia, and then Ukraine is a little bit further east over toward. I don't know if that's actually considered part of Asia or not, but I think it's. Is it considered part of Europe? I don't know. I don't know where those borders are drawn. Indonesia. Yes, that's like Southeast Asia. Getting some really cool range here. It's always really fun, being able to tune in on like a global scale like this, and being able to just chat with people from all over the place, because everybody has different experiences, everybody has different stories, and so it's just fun to be able to chat and hear from you guys. That's one of my favorite things about streaming. So many people. Oh, and then your Aunt Deborah's on too. It's funny because her username is Cookie Dealer. Oh, I gotta raise my piece of paper. There we go. That should hopefully be better. There we go. Barcelona. That's a place that I've always wanted to visit. Spain is amazing. I've got some really good friends from Spain and from Malaga and from Barcelona and home of the mother tongue. Yeah, I like taking this this trim adaptive brush and adding that alpha to it, because it really does give it like this little bit of a bite. It kind of makes it feel like oh, Reunion Island. Bonjour. It's not a place that you hear about very often. My goodness. I knew a lady from Reunion Island. Her name is Sandrine. So my last video is taken down on account of some comments and some of the yeah, I asked for it to be taken down. It was, I felt like it was just, there was some unnecessary what's it called? Good grief. Controversy over the character, over the stream, and so instead of having it as just a breeding ground for negativity, I decided I'd ask them to take it down. Yeah, so it's it's sad that that's kind of the world that we that we live in, but it's something I try to be, very conscientious of the impact that I have on others when I do things. As an artist, you're supposed to have impact, but one of the things that I try to be careful of is what that impact means, the way that it the way that it sheds light on myself and others, and so yeah, I had it taken down because there were just too many people who were putting too much bad of a light on what it was that I was designing, that I was working on, and trying to put it in a context that it wasn't intended to be in. So I went ahead and was the bigger man and had it take it down. Yeah, it wasn't anything that anybody else did or said. It was just me trying to make sure that I was just trying to be responsible and trying to be sensitive to other people, rather than just something that I was interested in, something that I was interested in doing. I wanted to make sure that I was more careful. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab this, pull it out, let's rotate it around. Hold Alt. If you hold Alt and use these scale cubes, it'll go through and it'll scale it out in kind of a uniform in two directions. But yeah, no, I was totally not making a statement with it. So, but yeah, I'll probably just leave all comments about that last week's video or last time's video at that. But yeah. It's kind of a sad thing to me. And people can't let art just be art and something to be appreciative and fun and whatever. And people have to assume the worst every time. Let me see. Here, let's take this. I'm going to stretch this shape out some. I realized I could use a snake hook brush or something like that to get something a little bit more quickly if I wanted to, but I feel okay with just getting it little bits at a time. You know what? I think I want this to be more narrow. Maybe having this be some sort of rock bridge or something could be kind of cool. May I ask if you like the new ZBrush features, or if it gets into your workflow. I haven't had the opportunity to play with too many of the new features yet. I'll tell you this though, some of the things that I love and absolutely can't wait to really put into play are things like underneath geometry, they've got this new stager feature. So you have this home stage and you have the target stage, essentially being able to go through and being able to work with things kind of wherever you want to have it as like a base place, so it can be out of the way, you can look at it, you see it, you can turn it around and sculpt on it without having to worry about it interfering with the other piece. And in fact, I can show you how that works right now. This rock, maybe what we'll say is we'll set this as a target stage. Okay, I'll pull it out over here and I'll set this as home stage. Okay, so this allows me to go in and be able to sculpt on this. Okay, let's see, where's my trim adaptive? You know, be able to get, you know, some different shapes and really play with how this looks and works and whatever. And then if I want to be able to put it back and see how it looks in context, I can hit switch stage. Oh wow, look at that. Huh. Interesting. Let's go back and let's try this again. Let's turn that off. Okay, so we'll say target stage. Oh, you know what? I think it's because it's the whole subtool. It's not the whole. It's not the single piece. So let's do this instead. Let's go ahead and break this out. We'll say subtool split hidden. Okay, turn off solo. So now we have this. We can go into geometry. Now we can hit target stage. Okay. So this is where it's supposed to be. This is where it's supposed to end up. And if I want to be able to bring it out over here, I can say home stage, and now I can switch stages and be able to get it, you know, in or out of the position where it needs to be. So yeah, it doesn't work on part of a subtool, it works on the whole subtool. But yeah, I don't need that to be there at all right now. Let's see. Let's go ahead and re-merge these down together. Maybe I'll give this a little bit more height, make it feel a little bit more something like that. And then I'll take this and we'll just start to scale this up, give this a bit of a feeling, and I'll sculpt it down too, to really kind of play around with making it feel a little bit more wall-like. Because right now it feels a little bit too rocky, a little bit too too much contrast in the details here. So I'll just kind of like sculpt down some of these points. That ledge is accidental, but I mean it could kind of work for what I need to be able to do with this. And just really kind of trying to pinch this down, make it feel a little bit nicer, smooth it out some, trim it some. Yeah. But yeah, so it's all just kind of trying to get that that consistency in form and rock shapes and things like that. So let's go ahead and kind of remesh that, and we'll keep going. You know, lots to just play around with. Let me see. I'm trying to remember what else I was like super interested in. I had my notes somewhere. Yeah, I might have left my notebook in my bedroom. Let me see. I really liked like the mask by symmetry and or like the new masking tools. Like masking is a huge thing for me, and I absolutely love it. So having really cool masking tools to add to my arsenal, that's pretty stinking cool. It's like I can go through and mask by symmetry, or not the mask by symmetry, but like, you know, duplicate mask by symmetry sort of thing going on, you know. Because there was a thing that in his demo, Paul went through and talked about how you can essentially like if you have a tattoo that, he used the example of putting a tattoo on the character's face, which was, it was cool, but then he was able to go ahead and mirror it across, using the new, mask by posable symmetry or copy mask or whatever the button is called. I gotta check it out. Let's see, what is it called? Is the masking, mask by alpha, mask by color. You got like all these different masking tools down here. Flip by posable symmetry, or mirror by posable symmetry. So just really kind of cool. Or you could do the changed points. So where you go back and you can kind of bookmark your. I'm not going to do it with this because this is rock and it doesn't really work as well with with this particular asset, but super cool. Being able to go through and use those sorts of masking tools. Those are things that'll definitely work their way into my personal pipeline. Okay, something like that. I'm suffering when retopping a character. Can you suggest me a guidebook or something? Because I just want to learn good topo. I have a course actually that's down here. This little QR code. If you scan that with your phone, that'll take you to a link. I can also send you guys a link. Let me pull this up. I think is it this weekend? I might need to check and see kind of when. Hold on, let me log in. Don't look at my password, guys. It's dot. Let me see. Base mesh for Blender. That's kind of funny. It can be a base mesh for anywhere you use it. Oh, that iKit's pretty stinking cool. I might check that out. Anyway, so I've got. Let me see, view store. So I've got these different assets here, these different tools and courses here. They will be having a back to school sale. I think it goes the 31st through the 2nd, which is like a 25% off sale, which is pretty neat. In this course, I go through and I do have like full character topology. The character starts from zero. I go through different clothing making techniques so that it's something you don't have to worry about not learning how to do characters or clothing, even though it's a mermaid. 3D printing and getting things ready for that. Different facial expressions. Yeah, so lots of different things involved in this course. Let me see. Let me go ahead. I'll make a link in case anybody wants to be able to go and check that out. So there's that link. Ah, come on. I wish that would have been. I'll put that in there. But yeah, that's an option. It's an opportunity if you're interested in going and checking out any of those courses or resources that I have available there. Yeah, I have different digital mold making techniques. It's really simple. It's applicable to a whole wide range of different types of molds. Um, Hard surface modeling techniques in ZBrush, and then this one's just the full stylized character modeling for animation course. And what that includes, it's essentially the exact same course that I teach at Noman, but instead of costing $1,300, it's only $400. So really, just a nice course, very well rounded, has a lot of stuff to it. Mass change points is great. Yeah, I'm excited with it. Nice cold water. I filled this water bottle up yesterday and it's still cold. It's awesome. It's like this big honking water bottle. I put my little Yoda Buddha sticker on there. Yoda Buddha. In fact, I probably ought to make that a sticker on my store. I actually got accepted to the what's it called? The Lightbox Expo. As a vendor, as an artist alley vendor. So I'll be, I'll have a store in the artist alley there, and I'm really looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and kind of do some stuff like that. That's a little bit too small. Sometimes you kind of just got to focus on a small area but use a big brush, and sometimes you got to use a little brush and focus on a big area. Right now is definitely one of those times to focus on small areas using a big brush. And sometimes you just gotta, with the trim adaptive, it's going to look at the normal of the surface that you're drawing it out on. And so I gotta kind of move my brush around in little bits. Otherwise I'm like getting really weird. You see, it's like it's kind of holding that same direction, but it's dragging that brush and projecting that along as I draw it out further. So as I focus on smaller areas and just kind of work out little by little from that space, I can go ahead and control how that rock facets. Lightbox Expo, that's a good question. Let's pull this up. I'll show you. Lightboxexpo.com. This is well, it's going to be online. It's going to be completely online. It's a very inexpensive thing to be able to attend, but there are all sorts of different things coming up. There are a bunch of things planned, events, presentations, really neat. And they've got like an Instagram account, they've got YouTube channel, and they've got all sorts of different things there. There will be it's professionals from all over the world, in all sorts of areas of the industry. Marvel. You got people from Nickelodeon. They got people from collectibles. J. Scott Campbell, we talked about earlier. Like lots of different artists from all over the place that do all sorts of different things are going to be involved here with Lightbox Expo, and it's just neat. It is so neat. I got to go the first year in person. I'm gonna turn off my line so I can see the color. I wish it would give more dramatic of a color difference. It's kind of it's kind of pathetic that it's doing this to me. Like, good grief. Go ahead and kind of scale this up a little bit. And then I'm going to take this. Let's actually flip it around upside down. Just kind of pull it up some. This and doing stuff like this, it's really really nice for the sake of being able to get something that feels uniform with rocks. Okay, something kind of like that. I don't know, just kind of playing with it. But yeah, you just go in and you start to really play with these pieces, um, and you get that difference in each piece, but you also get something that feels uniform and and like it's made out of the same sort of stuff. Really really neat. It'd be nice to get expos like that here in Sydney. Yeah, it's really really neat. But one of the nice things too, is that at least it's digital for now, especially because of the pandemic. Um, oh, hold on just a second. I guess I'll tell my daughter later. My daughter's been in love with Australia lately. She tells it she's been watching this show. This little girl takes care of sick koalas, and yeah, it's been really kind of fun to see her enthusiasm for that. Um, you know what? I think I do want to have this as the same poly group. You see like little areas like this got really really boogered up. But yeah, she's been really into that show, and she tells me all the time, she wants to move to Australia when she's grown and take care of koalas. It's fun. How are you guys doing, by the way? Do you only make toys? No. I work at Netflix Animation. I am a concept modeler. So a lot of what I do is, yeah, it's conceptual. It's design. Um, Work on movies and things like that. And there are a lot of different people that stream for Pixologic who work in different areas of the industry, arts and entertainment. We have people that work in games, people who work, more expressly as teachers and instructors. I also have a class that I teach at Noman. Um, shoot, let me turn on backface masking because otherwise that's going to be a pain in the neck. Okay, let's do that. People work at all over the place, like just so many different places, and there are people from all over the world that stream too. So, we have people from the Ukraine, we have people from Brazil, we have people from Mexico, um, and people from all over that just live in the U.S. or whatnot. So really really cool, and lots of different experiences too. So it's a really fun community to be involved with the Pixologic ZBrush Live. Really really appreciate it. Let me see. I'm always curious as to what Netflix modelers do. All sorts of stuff, and there are there's kind of so there are a couple different kinds of modelers. What I do is more conceptual. So it deals with just finding shapes and exploring ideas. But then there's also an aspect to it, or other types of modelers that go through and do things that are um, more for production. Actually, I kind of like that. We'll leave that there. Um, yeah, more for production, where it's they go through and they do the technical stuff. Getting it ready for. I didn't like that. Let's see. Kind of plant that in there. Oops, trim adaptive. Man, it's like I like being able to save myself the heartache by using backface masking, but I feel like in this instance, it's really just not doing me enough favors. Look at the way that's kind of. I need to turn off that backface masking. It's not doing me enough favors. Yeah, we'll come up here and we'll kind of fix this, and then I'll use this column and kind of expand it out. But yeah, my job mostly deals with exploring in shape and things like that. Although I have had projects with Netflix where I've done kind of full production topology and things like that, and it's been buttload of work. So much work. um, but so worth it and so much fun. So yeah, in a lot of ways, we're kind of like Disney in that sense, where there are concept modelers, and there are and then there are production modelers. But yeah, I mean, each production is going to have its own kind of workflow, its own pipeline, and so you'll get different shows on the TV side, or on series, or in movies that have just different ideas or different ways of working. I kind of like that. I like this brush because of the happy accidents. And I really only use trim adaptive when I'm working with rock. But yeah, really, really cool. How did I get my job? I got my job because of the class that I teach at Noman. Actually, a lot of the jobs that I've had since leaving Disney the beginning of last year have been because of people that I taught at Noman. So, for instance, the class that I teach, one of my friends took the class, and he's an art director. He's my art director at Netflix now. He saw what I do, and he really liked it, and so now we're friends. And he's like, do you want a job? And I was like, yeah. So yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty epic. Um, so yeah, in every situation, um, you always want to be very professional in the way that you treat people. You always want to do your best work, because that's you're always networking. Hola Javier, ¿cómo te va? Uh, did I use trim adaptive on Dwayne the Rock Johnson? Is that Ghost? It is. It's Ghost. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Purely because of how snarky that comment is, I totally knew it was you. uh, yeah. No, I didn't use trim adaptive on that. I might have used trim dynamic, but no, touche. You got me. I don't think I used that one there. Oh, one of the brushes that I really, really like. Oh, there are a whole bunch of different new brushes that I really quite like using, and these came out with the last release. They have like, I mean, I've used some of the cloth brushes that are really pretty neat, but there are things like this contrast delta or contrast target, these contrast things or the contrast slider in the deformation. Um, sí, yo hablo español. Um, yeah, I love Spanish. It's a beautiful language. um, it is my language of choice. Not perfect with it, but you know, it's kind of how it goes. You do what you can. Oh, there we go. That's kind of cool. Just kind of trim that down a little bit. Yeah, you just get little happy accidents sometimes. But yeah, those contrast brushes. Let me show you a little bit about what they do. Okay, I like that. So essentially what it's going to do is it's going to look at the depth. Hola, Quentin! Dude! Bien, ¿y tú? Dude, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Ah, good to see you, brother. Let me see. Yeah, so the contrast brushes. Let me show you that real quick because this is really really cool. And it won't do what I want it to do on this. It'll kind of just boost the contrast some. You can use it just lightly and kind of get a little bit more emphasis on details, but you can see like it's really kind of picking up on all the noise from the surface. So it's not something that's ideal for this particular area, but I mean you can see like I can pull out some of these details, emphasize some of these ridges, you know, get some really cool effects out of it. I find that also going through and using the slider underneath deformation, there's the contrast slider, if I can find it, contrast right there. So you just go through and you can kind of just slide it up, and you can see that gives you like an overall boost in contrast. If you wanted to, you could go through and do something like that in a layer, and then you can control how much that's adding to your surface. But yeah, it's not a big deal for me right now. Yeah, let me see. I'm liking how this is going though. I'm going to take this piece and I kind of want to get this like cool separation, like segmentation in the there we go. Ooh, and I'll have to add like another piece in here just to be able to make that feel a little bit more connected. And here we'll go ahead and we'll kind of bring this out to better match what's going on. Okay, so that'll give me a little bit more of just a little bit more interest there. Let's go ahead and grab this column, and I'm just going to control click and drag, make sure that's centered. I'll flip it around upside down, and bada boom, we've got a new column. Kind of rotate it some. In fact, let's rotate it this way. And then one of the things that we can do, I'm gonna raise it up some so that it gives me like an offset sort of shape. It makes it feel a little bit more organic. Let's grab snake hook, turn off RGB. And heck, let's do this too. I'm going to say go into depth, and we're going to say infinite depth. That way I can just grab the entire bottom part of this column and just pull it down. Makes it really, really nice to just tinker around and play with what's there. Just kind of pull this into place a little bit better. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I have enough, and I'll have to go through and kind of vary up some of this rock formation stuff here, but let's kind of pull this out some, make it feel a little bit more like a shelf. Yeah, so much to play with. And I want it to feel kind of almost like Lord of the Rings, like where the Fellowship were kind of going down into the mines of Moria, you know, really kind of cool. Packing up to move, huh? Just are you still staying around here in LA, or are you or did you decide to up and move out to Vegas like you were talking about before, kind of closer to your family? Let's see. Let's grab trim adaptive, and we'll just start kind of refining these pieces, these areas that got kind of stretched out. Still in LA. Awesome. Yeah, dude, we gotta get together sometime. It's been a couple of years. So are you moving today, or are you moving are you just packing to move today? There we go. Getting some shapes. Having that AccuCurve function turned on my move brush can be really, really helpful sometimes. It's really cool. It's a really cool function. Moving today, man. Do you have help? Do you need anything? 'Cause I can probably work out coming to help you for a little bit if you need me. Oh, good. Glad you got somebody then. Yeah, because I've had to move kind of like the whole of everything that we have. Like we had to do it by ourselves before, and that's heavy. That's a lot. So having somebody's help is always so nice. Yeah, moving is stressful. Yeah, and it can be more stressful, yeah, depending on the situation, or the time of year, or time of life, dealing with a pandemic or crap like that. Oh, life. To life, to life, l'chaim, 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 to life. Especially in LA, yeah. Yeah, it's very true. You're gonna pull this up, use this kind of like a wall. or at least part of a wall. You know, it's like when I'm building things out like this, I really like to just mush things together as much as possible. Just reduce, reuse, recycle, right? Um, and you know, it'll look weird if you look at it from the wrong angles, but you know, it's intended to be looked at from a specific angle, you know, and I'll be, you know, dealing with that more um, as I play around, as I figure out how I want to be, you know, how I want this scene to be viewed. Oops. See if we can get this to stay in the view. It's like, good grief. That's feeling a little bit too, like it doesn't have enough of a level surface there, so I'm just going to kind of pull this around a little bit. Let me see, it's almost 9:30, which means I've got about a half hour left on this stream. After I go, oh gosh, who's going after me? There's somebody going after me. I can't remember off the top of my head who it is. Go to Pixologic. Let me see. Missing the bottle dance. No. I worked hard on that bottle dance. I didn't even get to be in it. That was a fun opportunity, though. Alina, you're right. Thanks, Leo. Yeah, it's Alina. She's great. She does some awesome stuff. And yeah, it'll be in English, but I'm trying to remember what does she speak? Is it Ukrainian or is it Russian? I can't remember, but yeah, Russian. So you know, if you speak Russian and you'd like to watch that and you have questions for her, she's great. She's awesome. She does some really amazing, really cool, conceptually beautiful work. So yeah, feel free to tune in with to watch her. She's an hour and a half away from right now. So yeah, really neat. I think let's go ahead and grab this. I'm just gonna kind of scale this together a little bit. It's like I want it to break the surface of the wall, but I don't want it to be too, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit too horizontal, so making it feel a little bit less horizontal, a little bit more vertical. Make it feel like it's more kind of part of this rock wall here. Dwayne Johnson should have a wall in his house with, like, you know, like a rock climbing wall, and then each one of the handhold places, the grips, should have like a little picture of him on it or in it or something like that. Call it his rock wall. I know, lame joke, but whatever. It's the weekend. I can do that on the weekend, right? Okay. So that's turning out to be pretty cool. Let's grab this. Oh no. Here, you know what? Let's say auto groups. That way we know, or should hopefully be able to click and drag this out. All right. Let's kind of turn this upways like this. And then one of the things that I'll do once I get my rocks placed, or if it starts getting too heavy. I can't believe someone would make a lame joke. Never do that. Only dad jokes on the weekend. Yep, Saturday is International Dad Joke Day. Yeah, it's a commonly known fact. Oh, I'm curious to know how many of you guys have watched, what's it called? What If on Disney Plus. What are your thoughts on it? I personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I was expecting it to be, kind of interesting and keep them coming. Shoot. Well, I would say we just got to pack them in, but that's a little bit more in line with what you're trying to do, and it's not going to be very distracting if I. Good grief. Let me see. Let's kind of center this. Maybe I can get a little bit of like, oh, not bend arc. That's not what I wanted. Oh well, it'll be good enough. Let's go this other direction, kind of over this way. I would have rather used bend curve. Simple rookie mistake mix up. It totally gypped me right there. I feel gypped. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to think. What was the? I was expecting more art styles. I was expecting kind of, I don't know, like I feel like the characters aren't very strong. Coworker was talking about What If last night. He seems to really enjoy it. I think that it's kind of, it's interesting and it's got an interesting idea to it. To me, it's one of those things that's really kind of tricky though, because it's, I'm trying to look at it not just through the lens of, hey, it's Marvel. I like Marvel properties and I really enjoy the superhero flicks and things like that, but really trying to look at it as its own thing, because it doesn't really feel like it's trying to be the Marvel films. And so something that I feel like is really kind of odd about it is that the characters don't quite feel like themselves, and so because I'm attached to the characters as they are in the films, I guess Tony Stark, or not Tony Stark, Howard Stark is pretty much the same as as he always is. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that I can't quite put my finger on why I necessarily do or don't like it per se. It's really tricky. It's really tricky. But yeah, so like one of the things the reason I ask is because I want somebody to give me a reason to believe. you know. Somebody to give me a reason to really like it, to really, get into it, a different way of thinking about it, because I feel like what I've done to try to like it, it doesn't feel like it's working. I've just given it a chance. Really, I don't really know what else to do for it. Um, Oh, I think I started off saying earlier that one of the things that if the scene gets too heavy that I'll do, and then I think I stopped talking. Um, One of the things that I'll do if the scene gets too heavy, or once I get my rocks all in place, is I'll go through and I'll decimate them so that they. I got to go through and kind of vary up some of my surfaces over here, I think. Maybe not. Um, let's kind of put some crease into this over here. Just kind of build that in. It's one of the cool things about different brushes, like the clay brush or the trim dynamic brush or the trim adaptive brush, is that you can literally kind of build these pieces together, even though they're not literally the same piece. I mean, they're the same. I guess they're not even the same poly group right now. We can go ahead and we can make them the same poly group and then merge them together. But yeah, anyway. um, yeah. Yeah, I think that one of the things that I try to do is that if something seems interesting, I give it a chance, and if it's if I don't absolutely hate it, I'll go through and continue giving it a chance. Otherwise, I'll kind of just not. I'll drop it. Kind of liking the way that looks. I had something completely different intended with how I used that particular rock, but I'm liking how that looks, so I'm going to leave that where it is. Oh, but I'm going to take this piece. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Move brush, please. I'm just going to pull that over some. I'm trying to be careful with it so that it's not too, like messing up my sculpt too badly. And then play with that. Yeah, it's starting to get really heavy, so I'll probably go ahead and duplicate the mesh off, because I mean, you look at where we're at right now. This is over 7.5 million polys. It's like it's just for the rock. I mean, the character so far, what he has is about 5 million polys, a little bit under. So that's a lot of polys. Just kind of jam that in there. Yeah, it feels a little bit too jammed in there. Let's go ahead and pull that in. Pull this over here, something like that. I don't know. Let's see if anything works. It's just one of those things that I don't want to have like too much of just regular L shapes in there. I want to kind of break it up a little bit. I think just adding little rocks in there like that is really helpful. So yeah, having this character, having the rocks in there, it helps to build that sort of ambience and that sense of environment. I think having that column as a column is really cool too. So we'll leave that. Let's go ahead and pull this over and up, just so that we have something there. And then probably do something to be able to hide that step or gap right there. I want to grab this column right here. I'm just going to pull it out, rotate it on its side. Man. It's funny. So Paul Briggs from Disney just joined our production team as supervising director, and which is super cool. If you look him up, you'll know who he is. You'll recognize some of the things that he's worked on. He's worked on, he's been at Disney for years. Let me show you. American animator, Big Hero 6, so let me see. Let's pull in images and see if we can get artist. We'll do that. Nah, it's like too old. That must be a different Paul Briggs. Paul S. Briggs. Is this Paul Briggs right here? Yeah, I mean, you'd recognize a bunch of his stuff. He worked on Big Hero 6 and Frozen. This is probably something that he did. But yeah, he's a fantastic storyteller. Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna have to check that out later. Anyway, he's been all over the place. He's really good, and it's really kind of fun to work with him. Anyway, he was talking about how he makes breakfast tacos, and that's one of the things that he considers to be his kind of claim to fame food wise, things that he makes that that he and his family enjoy. This is kind of an interesting idea. It's like a breakfast burrito, but it's a taco instead. So he said that he'll usually put in things like egg and sometimes sausage and bacon, or he'd use what's it called, potato. He'll put potato in there. All sorts of little things like that. And then yeah. Oh, that is not going to be soft enough. I better save. Quentin, you're not reminding me. Oh, let me see. There was I'm trying to think. Every once in a while I'll scroll through TikTok and kind of watch some of the things on TikTok, listen to some of the funnies and whatever, and dad jokes are some of those that come across super regularly. Yeah, I can't remember. Can't remember. Yeah, I think I'll leave the environment kind of as it is for now. Let's go ahead and rename this rock structure so that we have that there. Where's my dad jokes? One dad joke equals a save reminder. Shoot! Oh boy, I gotta start thinking. What if somebody else supplies the dad jokes and I just read them? You're becoming a farm pirate, huh? What do you mean by that, sis? Yo ho, pirate's life for me. Okay, so with the pants, I don't want them to be anything too simple. I don't want it to be something that's too regular and vanilla. So what I'm gonna do. Let's take this. Let's say split unmasked. Go down. We'll rename this trousers. So just to get things kind of blocked in, you can see there's his body kind of poking through the sweater or whatever. Let's kind of go through and just block this in. In fact, it could be cool. Let's do this. Let's do like a high waist. And one of the things I'm trying to keep in mind, maybe I'll have to just turn off the coat just for the sake of being able to understand kind of what's going on with the rest of this piece right here. Obviously, I'm not caring too much about what's happening back here. I'm just looking for appearances. So yeah, let's get these high-waisted trousers on here. And then essentially what I'm going to want to have is, once I have the trousers kind of worked out, I want this sweater to have a little bit more of like a bunching to it. So we're going to bring this in and pull it up. And kind of push it in some. So this way it feels like it's kind of bunching up over the top of his trousers. It's probably good enough for now. Right now I'm just trying to think about, blocking things in, making things feel like they've got some volume and like they're kind of following the pose and trying to tell a story and things like that. So that's where we're at. That's where we're trying to figure out with these things. Okay. Let's go ahead and do something like that. Pull this up too. And then for the trousers, let's kind of work on some shape here. Okay. It's the best way to purchase ZBrush. I'm tempted to get the one-time purchase. Yeah, that's what I did. Especially if it's something that you know for sure that you'll both need and want to have. Even if it's something that you fully intend to use professionally down the line, it's something it's well worth it, because they do the free upgrades for every time they do a new release. They give you the upgrade at no additional charge for single license users. Yeah, the way that Pixologic kind of runs, and I think that this is a great system. I wish that other people would adopt this system. Oh yeah, there's a link below. That's a good point. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, Adobe needs to do something like that, or different people who have these subscription models, Autodesk, I feel like this is a great model that Pixologic has, where it's like, they make their money off of new subscribers, like new, like, anybody who does like a subscription model, like anybody who goes through and tries to, like, rent the software. um Hold on just a second, I need to cough. That's better. um um they go through, they make their money off of anybody who subscribes on a monthly basis. They do have that option. um but then they also have, new buyers, new licenses that they've sold, or companies, going through and selling company licenses, where those are, every time they want to upgrade, that's payment, and they get that out of everybody, because what ZBrush has is so unique. You don't have anything that quite compares with it. People ask all the time about Blender, and Blender's getting better, but it's not anywhere near in the ballpark of being able to compete with anything anything else. It's still its own beast. It's still its own animal. Um, and it's a great free solution for, if you want to be able to do something, and there isn't quite the fund for it or whatever. It's totally cool. Oh yeah, these bevel brushes, those are kind of interesting. I haven't played with those at all yet. um, I'll have to play with them though at some point. Maybe I'll use them to be able to build something out at some point. Oh, these these are amazing. These are the brushes that I have wanted forever. Opinions on drawing tablets for beginners. I mean, I've always stuck with Wacom. I've tried. I don't know how it's pronounced. Oyon, Huion, something like that. Um, I didn't like it as much, but I know that there are so many things that, so many different types of tablets out there that still work, and they work well enough, and they do the job. I mean, it's so it's not like Wacom is the only thing out there. So, like, one of the things that I know that a few of my friends have suggested in the past of doing is using, um, things like a Wacom, bamboo. I don't know if they make the bamboo anymore though, so that may or may not be the greatest um, the greatest suggestion I could make. Oh, you know what? Let's turn on the rock structure. I've got an idea. I wanna make sure that whatever I make for his legs, and just blocking him in. This isn't something that's going to be, final legs or anything like that. Um, but whatever I do to be able to block these in, I want to make sure um, that I can move the environment around a little bit more to be able to fit the character pose. I don't want to move the character to be able to fit the environment. The environment's all still in one piece, and so it's easy enough to take it and kind of move that around. Let's kind of shrink it down so that it has a little bit more of a taper to it. I think let's turn on that code again just to see if everything feels kind of all right together. So far, no. But let's grab this leg and kind of duplicate it over. pull this up. And then we'll come down, give this knee something of a bend. It's funny, my daughter, well, both my kids, they've been really into this online learning tool called Reflex Math. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move that leg over some, but it's okay. We'll deal with that when that comes. But yeah, it's really kind of fun, hearing her be so enthusiastic about it. And oops, that's not what I want. What I do want, oh, come on, you. Oh, you know what? Shoot, I didn't want to do that. I wanted this. Control A, Control W. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. Okay, now we can grab that leg and kind of move it over a little bit more. We can kind of rotate it out a little bit more, so that way it feels a little like he's got a little bit more stability to him. I know it's kind of hard, like, working in this sort of way. In fact, some of these pieces, like, I want to take this rock, make sure that it's the only thing selected here. I'm pretty sure it's the only. I'm gonna take this and kind of just move it over some. In fact, we can go ahead and we can kind of just hold Alt and then use that scale to kind of bring it out. Nomad is pretty cool. It's kind of tricky to use. I'm still trying to get used to it. Like, I haven't really played around with it as much as I'd like to. But yeah, I mean, you can do a ton of stuff with it. It's really, really neat. And yeah, it just works on your iPad. Let's see, snake hook. Let's grab this and maybe we'll just pull this section back. Oops. It's because it's got the infinite depth on. Let's go ahead and turn off infinite depth. It's like, why is it affecting so many different parts of that rock? I didn't tell it to move that part. Dang it. Like, that was rocking my world. Let me see. Dark Knight. Been a while since I've seen you around. How you doing? Let me see. Is a smaller size drawing tablet good enough for a beginner? Yeah, well, I mean, medium is kind of the smallest that they do now for Wacom. I haven't seen a small sized for several years. But yeah, really, like I never find a need to have anything bigger. I mean, it's not super big. The drawing space is like this, you know, it's not huge, and that's enough for me to be able to do what I need to do. Yeah, like, some people really like having like the big tablets and you're going with your arm like all like this all day long. It's like, that's so tiring. Now with a Cintiq, it's a little bit different, because if you have a small screen, you know, you have less to be able to see. It's harder to see what you're working on, and harder to see the buttons, and harder to this, that, and the other, right? So with a Cintiq, it's nicer to have a bigger size, but yeah. Oh, thanks for tuning in, sis. Have a good day. Um, yeah. Oh, so you got my sister got the bamboo. Cool. Um, no, questions are totally fine. I super encourage questions. I don't have a ton of time left in my stream, but oh, here's some of the things that I wanted to be able to go through and explore. Um, the trousers. I want these to have kind of like a poofy top, and then like kind of like tailored bottoms. Okay, so I'm just going to insert a couple of edges in here. We'll say expand or scale, edge loop partial, something like that. And then we'll just kind of, oh shoot, come on. There we go. Come on, you. It's like I know you can see what I'm trying to pull. Let's just solo that out. And this is just to kind of block the ideas in, right? So it's not really it's kind of like doing like a really rough sketch to figure out what's going on. But yeah, something like that is kind of what I'm wanting to go for. Something that's a little bit baggier on the top, and then it might be like something as simple as like a wrap down at the bottom. In fact, I might even take this and kind of rotate it a little bit, just to give it a little bit more of like a lead. And I'll have to go through and figure some things out. Like there may or may not be some things I need to do in adjusting proportions. I'm looking at this and it feels like it's a little bit large, but yeah, kind of like bunched cargos or something like that. But we'll see, kind of where it is that we go with it. Yeah, Nomad is great. Nomad is what got me wanting ZBrush. Yeah, I love ZBrush. I'm still trying to figure out kind of how to work through Nomad the way that I work with ZBrush. Part of it may mean that I need to get some sort of like keyboard to go with my iPad, but I don't really want to. I don't really want to buy one. um, Are the streamers working for Pixologic? No. No, we're just volunteers. We do we just love the software, love working in it, and it gives us, time to be able to to just play, do personal projects, things like that. There are streamers that do work for Pixologic, like Paul Gabry. He works for Pixologic. Daisuke, he works for Pixologic. There was a guy that used to work for Pixologic who would stream too. His name is Tomas. He's really good. Yeah, there are a lot of different people who do work for Pixologic who stream. But yeah, most of the people who who stream are professionals, people working in the industries. So yeah, it's fun. It is fun. And yeah, it's also a way for us to be able to network. In fact, a couple of my favorite jobs, my first Netflix gig, came from a friend of mine that I know because of streaming. You know, super cool. All right, I think I'm going to call that good for now. I mean, we got a ton of stuff done, mostly with the rock formations kind of in the background, and then we got the trousers blocked in. But yeah, we'll see kind of how the rest of this goes. Got a lot of work to go, but yeah, yeah, it's fun. I think it's starting to unfold. It's starting to become something, and I think that as I keep working with it, it'll continue to continue to come together. Keyboard stand lets me prop it up on my chest in bed. Really nice when my wife just wants to watch TV. Um, Very cool. So glad they're doing this. It really creates a solid community. Yeah, it really does. I think that's one of the things that Pixologic does really really well is engage a community, and I think that that's super super neat. Uh, Wacom Cintiq 16-inch is nice. It doesn't come with a glove or shortcuts like the shortcut buttons. Is that what you're referring to? You have to look at other Wacom shortcut remotes, etc. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably what you're referring to then. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. I don't ever use the glove. Um, I've thought about it. I've thought about getting one. My buddy Morgan, he does like these custom gloves, which is really kind of fun, really cool. So yeah, I'll have to look into it. It's something that could be helpful, could be useful, but yeah, yeah. So far, that's kind of where we're at with this guy. A few of the other things that I want to kind of explore with them. I want those hands to almost feel a little bit more cat-like. So like give some paw quality, uh, anatomy to the fingers. Maybe making them thicker, feeling a little bit more padded. Um, don't forget to save. Dang it! Now I need a dad joke. Oh shoot. Anybody got a dad joke? I'll read it for you. Does he have a website for the gloves? Let me see. I gotta see if I can remember his last name. Um, Morgan ZBrush gloves. There we go. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, Morgan Designs. This is your website. Okay. And yeah, they got all sorts of different things. These are gloves that are kind of like pre-designed or whatever. But then I think he also has a way of being able to go in and get your own design. I've never actually super checked it out. A couple of years ago, I guess right now he's only got six up. Yeah, I thought he had like that he could do custom designs. Maybe that's somebody else that was doing that. Either way, that's an option. And then there's somebody else that someone else I can't remember the name of it though. Similar product though. Um, but yeah. So yeah, up next in about 50 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. We got Alina coming up. Again, she's super talented. She's really really good. Really beautiful work. So yeah, feel free to go check her out. And yeah, and so again, reminder: she speaks English and Russian. So if you speak Russian, be a great time. You can go and ask questions. If you if you have questions in English, she'd be willing to answer that as well. So just really really great. And that'll be coming up soon. Um, if you're interested in being able to find my oh shoot, being able to find my courses, my tutorials, there will be a um, there will be a sale running on flipped normals coming up in a couple of days. I think it runs the 31st through the 2nd. So, if you wanted to be able to get any of these at a discounted price, that'll happen on starting on shoot, where's my calendar? Starting on Tuesday. Tuesday running through Thursday. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Yeah, have some fun. Have a great day. It's a beautiful Saturday. Unless you're in Asia, in which case you might already be to Sunday. Can't remember how many hours ahead you guys are. You guys are pretty far ahead though. Yeah, have a great day. Be safe. Stay healthy. And I'll see you guys next time I see you. I don't think I'll be streaming anymore today. This will probably be my last stream for the month. But yeah, if you're interested in being able to find me on Twitch, my own channel, you can check me out there, or you can check me out at SMAARTIST.com just to be able to find kind of everything. Links to portfolio. Got youtube.com/smartist. If you wanted to be able to see different past streams or other videos I've uploaded, all sorts of things kind of available to you. And then my personal favorite, Instagram. I love Instagram, so feel free to check me out there. I post most actively to Instagram, so yeah. Anyway, feel free to come join me, have fun, hang out, and I will see you guys next time I see you. Thanks for coming and hanging out, making the stream an enjoyable time. Again, stay safe, be healthy, be kind, and I'll see you guys next time I see you. Smartest out.